To continue, Act 8, Scene 2. The only problem with painting outside is this blessed country of ours is the weather, from which we can deduce the real reason why the paints are called watercolours, apart from today where the sun is shining. The English do have a particular attraction to them. So when it rains, as of now, I'm stuck indoors, only in the book, mind you. The view from the hills, I'm reliably informed, is breathtaking, but not today. I decide to don my waterproof jacket and stroll through the village. There's a lovely cafe displaying wickedly fattening cakes in the window, and if I'm not mistaken, some sensuous croissants. My nose detects that they're freshly made, with butter. 1 fresh ground coffee and 2 croissants later, smothered with blackcurrant jam, what else? I'm looking at the rivulets making patterns down the curved glass front. Some are larger and racing, whilst others meander in no hurry to dive onto the pavement. Can you easily tell I'm bored rigid? A woman dashes in, long hair soaking and curling round her shoulders with 1 strand clinging to her nose. Usual, dearie, says the assistant. Yes, please, Mary, and 1 of those croissants too. They're rather moreish, I pipe up. I've had 2. Well, lucky you, she says. I bet you're going to tell me next the weather's perfect for rambling. Afraid not. Unless it's even useless for painting as well. Are you an artist? Well, you could say that, but today I'm a croissant connoisseur. Hi, I'm Sarah without an H. I own the Bartlett Gallery just up there. And if your artistic temperament can drag you further up the road, call by. I don't think I shall be too busy today. She turns and exits, leaving a spreading puddle on the floor. Funny, really. I think I would have said the same sort of thing when I was a gallery owner. I ponder a while longer and venture outside to capture the essence of soaking wet High Street. An antiquarian bookshop is open, so I dip inside. Dry your hands before touching any books, if you don't mind. Good morning to you too, sir, I respond. Art section, please. The miserable owner stares at me, looking down at my shoes and at my jacket, and gives a tut. Right at the back, shelves 8 and 9 marked Art. I could set up a service industry academy here. I love it when people make you feel important and want you to spend money with them. Well, not today, you grumpy old sod. I give a smile as I walk back through the myriad of unsold books. Outside it may be wet, but inside smells dank. And the further back into the shop, the muskier and dankier it became. I fiddle with a few titles, but it's off-putting, and I reckon I'll develop mould myself if I stay in the shop any longer. I don't pull any punches on the way out. The place smells as mouldy as your temperament. Good day. I'm ignored. After walking by a few so-called antique shops, more like bric-a-brac tat, I actually find the Bartlett Gallery. On display are selections of Victorian paintings as well as more modern works. Suddenly I feel awkward. I'm the artist, not the owner. The roles have changed, reversed. Well, I was asked to call by. Here goes. Greetings again, Sarah, without an H. Make yourselves comfy, dear. I'll be with you in a moment. I do what every artist does in galleries. I study the artworks. I scan them. You do this, you see. Artists never just look and admire. They scan the image from top corner to bottom and back. It's called scanning. I wasn't too hot on the Victorian landscapes, a bit too potboiler for my liking, but then I come across a William Turner original. It's stunning, as is the matching tag price. What do you think of this little beauty, she says. If I could paint half as well, I'd be a very happy man. We're always on the lookout for good art. It's not easy, you know. There's so much tosh around. I agree, actually. I used to say exactly the same thing. I had a gallery once. You have to keep on searching for that something extra that just jumps out. Tell me more. She bends down to pull a bottle of champagne from an under-the-counter fridge. Well, what a great idea. I used to keep a fridge in my kitchen at the back of the gallery. Sometimes you need it to hand, she laughs, pulling the cork at the same time. Cheers, you. Cheers to you, too. What do you paint, she says. Contemporary, naive, quite colourful, really. You'll have to show me some. I can show you what's in my sketchbook later, if you like. I think I'll like. You can tell, you know, from the way the person is, what their work's going to be like. Good grief. She does sound like me. And there I was thinking I used to be unique. How positively refreshing. We finished the second glass after talking about all things related and unrelated to gallery life. Next minute it's 1:25 and no one has walked in and the phone hasn't rung and rain has stopped playing. There's a great pub a bit up the road. Fancy a bite? What about your gallery? Oh, I'll put Gone Fishing on the door. Sounds a great idea. Sounds like something I'd say as well. So we head off full tilt to the King's Head. It's not a cheese and raw onion cob place, you know. Silver service and a cracking menu. It's still raining. Sarah is attractive in a challenging way. She's full of beans and full of life. I'm feeling quite rejuvenated in her company and I love her. I don't care approach. Don't say I love her approach. Who does she remind me of? Lunch comprises of lots of good wine and food and like all good lunches, ends far too late. I suppose I'd better do some work, she says. I'll walk you to your establishment then. We settle the bill. I offer to pay and she refuses. I leave the tip. We laugh. She puts her arm through mine as we amble back. The rain has finally ceased and I bid her farewell. Bring your art back later. Say 6:30. If you say so. Bye for now. Well, I'm not painting, but it's certainly a colourful day. So I dash upstairs and sort out 3 of my pads. I have a quick shower and I spruce up with a splash of aftershave. I go with the flow ticker taped through my mind. Does she want to see my art or am I being naive and childish? Do I care? This is fun and I've no one to answer to except myself. I buy a large box of chocolates, Maltesers, and at 6:20 I stroll back to the gallery. Sarah, without an H, is on the phone. She's twiddling her hair and appears quite agitated. Bloody artist, she explodes, slamming down the phone. Hello, bloody artist here as requested. She looks up. Ugh. Sometimes I wonder why I'm doing this. There's got to be an easy way to make a living. Ah, but it is as much fun. She stops and nods. You do know how it feels, don't you? Been there, done that, and printed the T-shirt. Here you go, I got you a little thank you for lunch. How do you know I love Maltesers? Well, who doesn't, I say. They stress bust just at the right moment of crunching, especially when you pop in more than one at the same time. You're really funny. Been in the art world for ages, that's what does it. She's calm again. Come on, show me your art. I produce my books and lay them on the desk. Over to you, my trusty gallery owner. I'm now feeling naked. How ridiculous. She says nothing, just turns each page over, studying my watercolours. And when she finishes the second book, she looks at me and blows a slight whistle. Whew. Well? They're nothing like I imagined they would be. That's the first time I've got it wrong. Well, I never. I'm a little concerned as to what she means. Well, what do you really think then? I love them. All of them. I love your style, the freshness, the honesty. They're great. You're not how I imagined your work to be at all. Wow, thank you. I'm nervous asking the next question, but I don't need to as Sarah gets in first. I'd like to try a dozen of these if you don't mind. I really love this piece, and she holds up the book and places it on the shelf before stepping back. Just a simple wooden frame and a large mount. Bliss. How do you operate with your commission structure? Fairly, she winks and smiles. I'm happy with that. Let me buy you a drink to celebrate. Good idea. I better sort George out first. George? Yes, my cat. He needs feeding. Do you live far from here? Ever so close, she says. It's the annex behind the gallery, through the courtyard. So we lock up and we go through the back door into a cobbled courtyard. And George is sitting bolt upright against a stone carving by the door. I'm not a lover of cats, but this one looks majestic. He's also looking at me with an inquisitive air of disdain. He's naturally first in queue, and that's all there is to it. We walk into the long lounge full of art and antiques and with a huge gold leaf mirror on the far wall. French, I believe. Correct. Louis XVI. She feeds George, who in turn totally ignores me. Lovely place you have. Oh, it'll do for now. I converted it to live in when I got divorced. She looks reflective all of a sudden. I change the mood. Come on, let's go. It must be well past 1 o'clock. Bye, George. George continues to ignore me. We return to the same watering hole. I order a bottle of Malbec and a jug of water. Sarah's bemused by the water. Why? Because it's good for you. 2 litres a day and all that. Oh, tosh, she says. The wine goes down rather too quickly and is followed by several more bottles. Sarah leans over and whispers in my ear. I don't think I'm going to regret this, she says, and she kisses me full on the lips. My place? If you insist. She pokes me in the chest. Move it, mister. It's raining again. Ah, yes, the bliss of living in England. So I am lying in bed, pondering on what to do. She's still asleep beside me as the church bells ring out to say it's 8 in the morning. Where am I? I'm in a rather nice bedroom, somewhere in the country, but not in my hotel. My head begins to spin a little, reminding me of a tad too much alcoholic consumption from last night. Well, to be fair, it was only 5 hours ago. What's her name? Ah, yes, Sarah without the H. She owns a gallery. The thought hit Holmes. I've just slept with a gallery owner. Fancy that. After all the years of protecting my staff and artists as an owner and never actually sleeping with one. They were my rules. Well, now the brush is on the other hand, so to speak. Enough, I'm starving. So I slowly get up. Not so fast, lover boy, says Sarah, lifting her head and turning over to grab me round the waist. By 9 o'clock, my body is demanding breakfast with menaces. I run down the road to get fresh croissants, and when I return, Sarah's in the gallery with a fresh pot of coffee brewing. I didn't think you'd do a runner on me. What, with fresh croissants as good as those down the road? You've got to be joking. I don't normally pounce on men, you know. Well, I'm honoured. But does that mean you won't take my art? Perish the thought. Of course I will. And when they've sold, I might even have some more. Paintings, that is. Naturally, I reply. I leave the paintings with her and amble back to my hotel. Who says art has no fringe benefits? Thank you.